Hi there, it's Jason here from the Accounting Student Network, and today in the coffee break clip I'm going to talk about balancing off accounts. So if you joined us a couple of sessions ago, you would have seen me draw up some T accounts. So I'm just kind of taking that the next stage now. So I've shown you how double entry works, I've shown you how dead clip works, I've shown you how T accounts work, but balancing off the accounts is an area that a lot of students do struggle with. It is a bit tricky sometimes to get your head around it initially, but I'm going to go through a few examples today of balancing off accounts, and then what I'll do in the next session is sort of put a mini trial balance together just to show you how it brings it all together, if you like. But literally all I'm going to do today in the few minutes that we have together are balance off accounts and just show you briefly how it works. So if we look at the screen here, I've got a little dead click table there just to sort of remind you how it works, but hopefully that's sort of pretty set in stone now with you, because I've gone over that over the past few sessions. So we're going to look at the bank account here, which is an asset account. We've got 3 transactions on the debit side, we've got 2 on the credit side. So how do we balance the accounts off? Now there's a few different methods of actually remembering how to do it, but I'm going to hopefully use the most basic one. So you can see in this account here, you can see the debit side is bigger than the credit side. So the debit side comes to £60,600, credit side comes to £35,000. So we know this side is bigger, so we can put the total of the bigger side straight in the total column here. So I know that it's 60,600, so I'm going to put in there equals 60,600. So we therefore know that the figure needs to balance. So in the credit column, there also needs to be 60,600. So I'm going to put that in there now. So the difference, which I'm going to work out on my calculator, is 6,600 minus 32,000 minus 3,000. Could have put minus 35,000, but you know, I like to be complicated. So the difference is 25,600. So we know that we've got to put 25,600 in there. So now the debit side equals 60,600 and the credit side equals 60,600. So this figure here is the balance that we need to carry forward. So what we're going to use is we're going to use balance, so B-A-L-C-D, which means carried down. Now sometimes it's a struggle to remember which is carried down and which is brought down. I guess the only thing I can say is you're picking the balance up and carrying it down to the bottom, carrying it down to underneath the figures above, if you like. Not a very scientific method, but you're picking it up and carrying it down. So that's how I remember it. So obviously that's the figure there to balance the accounts, which is on the credit side. So we need to bring it forward on the debit side, the opposite side. So I'm going to put in there equals 25,600, and we're going to say in that column there, balance brought down. Because it's a debit balance brought down, the reason is the figures in the debit column are higher than the figures in the credit column. So the debit column exceeds the credit column by 25,600, so therefore there's a balance of 25,600 to bring down to the next period, to the next month or whatever it may be. So I hope that makes sense. It is a little bit fiddly, but that's the method that I use to do it, is to work out which side is the greater and then to put the total in there, and then to put the same total in the opposite side, work out what the difference is and carry that balance down to the next period. So you've now carried that balance down, you've brought it down from the previous period. So that's a situation where there's differing figures on the debits and credit side. Now on the B Blake capital account here, you see we've only got one figure. So we know that that side's got to equal 60,000, as has this side, the debit side. So we therefore know the balance carried down has to be in the debit side. So we're going to say balance carried down 60,000. And then we're going to bring that balance down. We're going to carry it down and bring it forward. And that's 60,000. So the capital account was 60,000 credit. Nothing's happened, so it's still a £60,000 credit. Hopefully that makes sense. And the shop, similarly, there's only one entry, so we know that total there has got to be £32,000. So we know that total's got to be £32,000. So we're going to carry that balance down of 32,000. And we're going to bring it forward on the debit side because it's still a debit balance because no other transactions have happened in that period, £32,000. Okay, so we've got still got a couple of accounts to do. So inventory, we've got 7,000 on the debit side, we've got £1,000 on the credit side. We know this is higher, so we're going to put the balance straight in there. We know it's got to be exactly the same. So the difference, even I can work that out without a calculator, incredibly, it's 6,000. So we're going to say balance carried down, 6,000. And we're going to say balance brought down on the opposite side, 6,000. So again, to explain it, we've got inventory of £7,000, but we've been paid, I say we've been paid, the debtor's reduced, or whatever might have happened. I don't know what's happened in this situation, but the account's been reduced by £600 and £400, so by £1,000 in total. So 7,000 less 1,000 is 6,000 to bring down. And similarly, in the D Smith account, we've got inventory on the credit side of 7,000, which is the higher amount. So we're going to put 7,000 in there. We know it's got a balance, so we're going to put 7,000 in there. And so therefore the difference is 4,000. So I've got 4,000 in there. Balance carried down is 4,000. And on the opposite side, balance brought down is 4,000. So again, we can see we had £7,000, excuse me, on the credit side. That's been reduced by 3,000. So we've got 4,000 balance left to carry down, to bring down. And lastly, we've got J Brown, which is an asset account, which is a debtor account. So we've got a debit balance of 600, which is higher than the credit balance of 200. So we're going to say it's got to be 600 in there. It's got to be 600 in there as well. So again, we're going to carry it down. So balance carried down is going to be 400. I'm doing all these calculations in my head. It's staggering. And so the brought down figure has got to be on the debit side, and that's going to be 400. So again, £600 worth of goods we've sold to J Brown. J Brown has paid us £200, so there's £400 debit balance left. So hopefully, I've moved through that quite quickly, but you can of course use the pause button if you need to slow it down. But hopefully I've explained there how balancing off accounts works, and in the next session where we concentrate on this sort of thing, this sort of training, then I'll show you how to formulate the trial balance. It will be a very simple trial balance, but we'll do that in the next session. So hopefully that's been beneficial. I will see you next time.